if you are not vegan, you are not logical. Now what does this mean? How does meat eating or a meat eater is not logical? Why would be the question. Well, the main reason is because the meat eater is very selfish, and selfishness equal to foolishness. The core difference between a vegan and a meat eater is selfishness. A vegan does not kill an animal for taste, neither protein or any other reason, pleasure, whatever. And in the other hand, meat eater eat it for only selfish reasons, no other reasons at all. They don't do it for benefits of other or benefits of animals or anything or earth. They just kill and eat for their own interest, for their own benefits. And I will tell you how being selfish, being this selfish even, is the heights of stupidity, is the most foolish thing ever. First of all, let me explain to you why selfishness is foolishness, and then I will address all the debates and arguments against veganism. Now, most people eat meat for only two reasons. First is it tastes good, and second is it is protein and it has a lot of amino acid, etc. It helps in muscle gain and strength. And you could say both of these things, because of both of these things, a lot of people eat it. Now, isn't both of these things selfish? You are killing an animal and sentient being who has feelings just like you, who suffers just like you, and feels happiness just like you. So you are killing an animal for your own two gains, either taste, either protein. Now, why is selfishness foolishness? Yes, I am selfish, I am eating a meat. So why I am a fool? Why I am stupid or I am illogical? Why? Well, the reason is if the self does not exist, if the independent self does not exist, for whom you are eating, for whom you are going so far to kill an animal and eat its flesh, for whom? That is the question. Well, the simple answer for that question is ego. You are killing that animal for your ego. What is ego? Ego is false identifications. Now you are killing an animal because of your false identification, either identification with the body or identification with societal status. For example, you eat for pleasure, taste buds, taste pleasure. So you're eating for the body because the body gets pleasureful chemical released when you eat it. So that is bodily identification. Eating meat satisfy your bodily senses. So first identification is body. Now the second identification is strength or muscle gain. And you want muscle because you want to look good, and you want strength because it boosts your self-worth, because being strong equal to high worth, which was told to you by society. So first is your body identification, and second is your societal title identification, or you could say your societal status identification. The higher strength and good looks you have, the higher status you have. So you want those identification of good looks and strength to be higher in society. So these two identifications is making you eat meat. Now, why are these identification foolish? Because you are not them. This is just a simple answer, because you are not them. You are neither the body nor the societal identification you have took for yourself. You are not neti neti. You are not this, not that. You are nothing. Why? Because body is just like a machine developed by evolution. Everything the body and the brain does and the mind does is an cause and effect. It happens because of a cause, and you are not that cause. You don't do anything. Cause is evolution and effect is our body. So everything even the body does is conditioned. Let's say, do you control your thirst or do you control your inhalation, exhalation? You don't, right? Body does it on its own. And the internal process, digestive system, etc., etc., do you do it? No. Like that, thoughts, even thoughts are not in your control, and even actions that you perform are not in your control. So how can you call yourself the body if the body works on its own and you have nothing to do with it? You have nothing to do with your thoughts, you have nothing to do with your actions, you have nothing to do with anything related to body. Nothing. So how can you call yourself body? And let's talk about the second identification, societal identification. Strength and good looks, you are identifying as them, but those are just concepts. Strength and good looks are human concepts. They don't even exist in reality. So you are identifying as something with, you are identifying with imagination that does not exist. Strength and good looks is just imagination. Yes, strength We call that able to lift muscle, you are able to lift weight, that is strength, and your body is sculpted this way, then you look good. But even that is decided by humans. We decide what is good strength and we decide what is good looks. So in reality there is no good looks and there is no strength. All that exists is nature, and strength and good looks are just human concepts. So you're neither nature, which is the body and the mind, and you're neither all these societal made up concepts. So you don't see this foolishness, you don't see your foolishness, you don't see that you're identifying as something that you are not, or you're identifying with things that do not even exist in reality. If you are a meat eater, you are identifying as something you are not, and that level of identification is very higher. Why? Because you are able to look over suffering and you're ignoring your compassionate ability, your ability to be selfless. So meat eating is the highest, one of the highest level of selfishness. So that is why meat eating is the most foolish and illogical and stupid thing that you can do. And veganism in other hand is the first step to be logical, to be well versed in wisdom, to be one step higher towards self knowledge. So as I said in the start of the video, veganism is selfless. Veganism is first step towards the practice of selflessness, which is the truth. And meat eating at the other hand is just falseness, your falseness getting increased at higher levels due to how selfish you are for eating meat. So veganism is one step towards truth, and the truth is that there is no self, hence selflessness. And meat eating on the other hand is the highest level of falseness, because it increases your identification with selves, with identities, with false identities. Hence veganism is the path to truth, and meat eating is the opposite direction of truth. Well, let's address some arguments against veganism. Let's first see ethical and philosophical arguments. Plants are living too. Well, plants do not have nervous system, nor do they have brain, so they don't suffer. Now you will say, but they have life. They are also sentient being. No, they are different. They are just like an electron striving for stability. Plants strive to live. That is all. They are very different from animals and humans. Animals and humans are the same. They feel pain, they feel suffering, and they have a brain, they have a nervous system, they have all these emotions. So if you are killing an animal, you lack a very core essence of compassion, or you could say lack of empathy even, which relates to selflessness. Humans are naturally omnivorous. Our ancestors ate meat. Some argue it's part of our evolutionary design. Well, yes, we are omnivorous. We can also digest meat, but it doesn't mean that we have to kill an animal for our taste or any boost of identification. No, being omnivorous doesn't mean you can use an ability given to you by evolution for your selfish needs, for your improvement of falseness. Animals eat other animals, so humans eating animals is seen as natural too. Animals cannot show compassion and empathy, but we can. That is what makes us human. We can live in the truth. Animals cannot. They don't have that much of brain capacity or intelligence. So yes, if animals eat other animals, it's okay. But if we eat other animals or eat other humans, it is not okay. Death and consumption are part of the natural cycle, not inherently immoral. Well, love, empathy, and compassion can also be the part of natural cycle. Why only choose that and consumption? Why do you decide what natural cycle will be? Why cannot natural cycle be full of love, empathy, and compassion? Why not? If we eat plant based, it will kill more insects than the animal we kill daily. Well, for your information, most of the farming, most of the plant based food goes to animal. It goes to feeding the animal so that we can eat that animal, so that animal can be healthy and can have a lot of mass. So when it cuts and come to our plate, it can be in a lot of quantity. So if we eat an animal, we are also killing thousands of insects. But if you only eat plant, only insects gets like killed or anything. So veganism is not perfect. Yes, it kills insects, but it minimizes the suffering, it minimizes the killing. And in future, it could be possible that we develop technology which does not actually kill insects for farming or etc., or growing crops. We should all focus on that technology and save many lives as we could, instead of using false arguments to boost your selfish desires. And the other argument is nutritional and health arguments, like protein and amino acids, etc. You can get all the protein and all the vitamins and all the nutrition with plant-based food. You just need variety of foods in your plate. That's all. You can get the same amount of everything that meat has. So that is not an excuse, and you can go and do your own research about what food gives what protein and etc, etc. And even if it didn't give protein, why are you killing an animal for protein? The main point is you being selfish. You only caring about your protein and your muscle growth and your falana dhimkana mass growth, anything etc, etc. You're only caring about yourself. You don't see the suffering of animals. But even at that, plant is providing you all that which is necessary for muscle growth. So this argument is not logical by any sense. Rural and tribal communities depends on animals for survival. Well, here is the difference. Human lessen the suffering of the world more than an animal. So for only that reason, human's life matter more than an animal. So for survival, a human can kill animal because that human is very able to lessen the suffering and lessen the killing of all the species. So hence, if it comes between survival of animal or human, then human should be prioritized. And this is not selfish. This is looking overall for overall growth and benefit and overall reduction of suffering. The main purpose of this is to reduce overall suffering, not any personal desire or any self-interest. Holier than thou image. Some people are put off by perceived moral superiority or militant vegan activism. They will mock you by saying that you're a saint or you're trying to be holy, etc., etc. You're trying to be morally superior. Well, you can't stop that. An ignorant fool will see a wise person from their biased perspective. So you can't stop their biased perspective, their foolish perspective. Let them say what they are saying. You know what is the truth, and you should follow that truth only. Vegan may face difficulty eating out, sharing meals, or fitting in with non-vegan communities. Why do you want to fit with people who are ignorant, foolish, and stupid? That's it. So if you face any problems or hardship following veganism, then always remember that following truth is harder than living in ignorance. But following truth gives you peace, and living in ignorance is an hell. It gives you suffering. So be vegan, be logical, and follow the truth.